Hello everybody and welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion. Tonight we're at Silverstone. Dom, how are you doing?
I'm tip-top, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Looking forward to this one. Silverstone is always an exciting track and the home of many of us, British Grand Prix. So looking at the championship standings, we can see Cheer on top, followed by Daniel, followed by Gareth, then Chris, Dano, Roberto, Rich, Chris Wright, Sam and Anthony rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, still nice and tight towards the top there. Still a lot to play for in this championship.
Definitely, yeah, and looking at the championship standings for the teams, we can see Wizards of Lifton Coast on top, followed by QRS and CC Racing rounding out the top 3. All quite close there.
Yeah, again, another really tight championship shaping up here. It's it's going to be an exciting sort of. This is the middle race of the season, isn't it? Or there's 4 more after this one, so excited to see how the second half goes.
Yep, and here we go. Looking at the practice results, 53.206 for Sam Stott puts him on pole in the practice, followed by Roberto, and then Chu running at the top 3. Roberto there in a QRS sandwich, wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. But Chu's the one taking the qualifying honours this time, 2 tenths ahead of Chris Forrester, and then Sam down to 3rd, having top practice. That's a surprise to me.
That is a surprise. I wonder if the temps have been fluctuating and he was struggling, but no surprise to see Chia Malarin up there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wonder if there's a big toe to be gained around this track as well. So the difference between getting a toe or not getting a toe maybe is the difference.
That's true. So as we look at the grid, we've got Chia on pole, followed by Chris Forrester, Sam Stott, James Carter, Gareth, Roberto. So Wizard, 3rd row there. Then we've got Chris White, Dano, Rich, and Stephen Koenig making his entry into the F3. Welcome to you.
Yeah, Stephen calls himself the world's fastest backmarker. So,
and lights out and away we go.
Nice so even start. Is that Koenig out the back, just dropping a few car lengths at the start. It might be the first time he's ever done a standing start in this car.
Yeah,
to be fair to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Here we go, battle for the lead.
Malarine's lost it.
Forrester's dropped it.
Malarian had lost the lead temporarily there. Forrester had taken the lead from him.
Wonder if the temps are up in this one, so obviously very cold. That promotes Gareth into P2.
Yeah, from P5. A great start for Winslade then, and Costa up in 3rd.
Superb start for him.
And Stott's dropped a position from the grid as well there.
Yeah. I wonder if Sam's struggling as we see a nice bit of drafting going on. So see Dano going to the outside. Ooh, that's a risky one. And
yeah, braver than I am. Oh, does he get it stopped? Just about.
Oh, stop! No, round the outside. What a move! What a move!
Yeah, I think Dano had to scrub so much speed then, because sort of running wide into the entrance to that complex there, it really compromised his exit.
That was great. See Rich chasing down Stephen Koenig now.
Yeah, the world's fastest backmarker made a few positions there.
He has, yeah. So looking at Sam coming through Cops, very easy to get an off track. That's definitely an off track.
That must be a slowdown out there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost slowdown territory.
It was almost in the old Cops that corner's named after. It was so far wide.
Coming through Maggots, and then Beckett's, and onto Chapel, following onto Hanger Straight for the first time. Oh, really wide from Stephen Koenig. Don't go out there. Don't want to be going through the grass. That is definitely a slowdown.
Absolutely.
So Hanger Straight now.
Touching the grass as well in these cars, you'll be lucky if you don't find a wall as well.
Very true, yeah.
I've seen this move done in the GT3 Championship to start the season off over on that side of things, around the outside. Is Rich going to make it stick? It looks like it has. Great move there.
Wow. What a move.
They're the kind of moves that feel good, those ones, aren't they? You know, like pinning it around the outside of someone.
Yeah. As you see Stock coming into the pits.
Early, surely has not forgotten to take it out of qualifying fuel.
Could be on qualifying fuel, or maybe it's a jump start, black flag.
Potentially, although
it jumped the start.
It didn't make up any positions. If this looks like a drive-through, he's not pulling over. I just do now.
So maybe on quali fuel. Oh, that's unfortunate. That was a very quick stop if it was.
Very quick stop.
He's going to have to do the fuel saving strat now, as we're looking at Roberto in P3, car number 3, where he should be.
Maybe just a fast repair, come to think of it. Maybe he's got meatballed for something with the way that he just stopped and then immediately set off again.
Yeah,
like, that wasn't enough time to put fuel in just there, was it?
No, I don't think so. As you see James Carter in the pit, so maybe Sam and James have made contact. I'm not too sure. Yeah,
there was sort of quite a big schmozzle through the opening sequence there. A few cars off track. Obviously, we saw Chris Forrester out of the lead there, who is still in the pit, sadly.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we get a replay here.
This is the start for Chris then.
Oh, a lovely getaway there.
Doesn't get any crispier than that, does it?
No,
Fantastic job.
So it's going to McLaren moves left hand side. McLaren darts to the inside there. Oh, just like he just lost it under. So.
Yeah, but the back end just gave, like the downforce just gave up on it.
Hey, we're looking at Sam.
There's no jump start.
No.
Gets mugged off the line, does Sam?
He does, yeah.
Darting left and right trying to fight. Oh, dear.
That's where the contact was.
Yeah, that's probably a meatball then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of axle damage.
Front wing. Doesn't look like it's out of alignment though. It's alright. Oh,
more accidents there on the exit, yeah.
Oh, we thought it was alright looking at Chris here.
Nice little 360 from Stott there across the grass though. Pulled it a 10 out of 10 for execution.
Points, yeah.
So both CCs caught up in this opening problem. What happens here? Oh, James is just going to tag him there.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So a double whammy for Carter then.
Yeah, luckily they do have one fast repair, so we can use it and get back out, get a bit of fuel. Oh, not again. Oh, dear. Just when it can get any worse. Oh, man.
Does Chris got away with that with no damage though? Oh,
that's not damage. Hitting the curve. That spoke too soon there, Tom. That is definitely damage.
Yeah, those sausages are particularly murderous.
Back to live action. We see Rich in 5th place.
Malaren well out of DRS range of Winslade.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's quite clear.
For the viewers, of course, I joke there is no DRS in these cars, unfortunately, but becomes sort of a motorsports phrase, that, hasn't it, to break the 1 second gap?
Yeah. Well, it's just a little bit of breathing space, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Takes the pressure off. You're just getting your own rhythm then.
Yeah, just focus and run the lap times. Hit the delta. You see Sam Stott back out in P8.
So Stott's made it back out ahead of Carter then. Potentially Carter had to tow rather than being able to drive it round after that double incident with, first Sam and then a double with Chris.
So you see Sam coming through cops. Does he take the off track? No, keeps it well within the track limits there.
Chris Forrester is back out on track, which is good to see.
He's a lap down.
Long way down, yeah, long way down.
You can see him on the track map. He's that's a lap. Well, he's going to be another lap down soon.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. It didn't look like he'd got a lot of damage. Like he only brushed the
wall.
wall.
That's the factor, right?
Oh yeah, I guess so. But like I wonder if it's just snapped the rear axle or something. You know, when you lose the drive in these cars.
Yeah,
maybe just stuck there.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. So Gareth sets a PB of a 54.4.
Nice little battle shaping up here with Sam chasing down Chris White.
Yep. Let's see what
Sam
you can do.
Getting a bit squirrely there, it looked like.
It was indeed, yeah.
These cars on these new tyres seem very, very twitchy to me.
Oh, they are. They're super twitchy. Really difficult. Turn 1. Oh, I was happy.
I was clenching then on behalf of both of them.
That's a flat out corner as well, so that's a brave move to pull there.
Yeah, Chris was very respectful there, leaving space for Sam. That was an interesting place to put the car, shall we say. It was brave, definitely brave.
Very brave, yeah. Not an overtaking spot, because as I said, that's just flat. So looking at Malaren here. Just eking out the gap a bit. It's gone from 1.5 to 1.8, so it's just finding the rhythm.
Still great. It doesn't look that much on screen though. Obviously, both cars occupying the same stretch of road there.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, just hovering around that 1.8 second range, isn't it? Another 6 seconds back to Costa afterwards, though. So these two at the front are really pushing.
Running away with it, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Hammond and Meisters, a nice little Canadian battle potentially shaping up for 4th and 5th there.
As always, wouldn't have it any other way.
Winchell just brought the gap down a little bit this lap. It started around 1.8, we're down to the 1.6s.
Looking at Roberto now, just running it his own way. Obviously, who are we missing tonight? I think we're missing Joe and Dan, so come back soon, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Andrew Edwards running this as well? Or am I getting my wires crossed?
So. I think he's in GT3, but I might be mistaken.
I couldn't remember. I had a feeling he'd run at Virginia, but
Now, why is Chris in the pits?
That's a good question. Here he is. It looks like a scheduled stop. At least he's got all his wheels pointing in the right direction, it seems, anyway.
And the front wing looks intact, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite an early start, only lap 5. I'm not sure. Maybe he's can feel a bit of damage from the earlier contacts.
Yeah, maybe
So
wants
there's
to.
a double contact with Carter.
The fuel is what only.
See, he's gone up on the jacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't seem to be up on the jacks very long though. Did they go up just for fuel?
I don't think so.
I'm not
If
sure.
that was a tyre change, that's mightily impressive.
Yeah, fast pit stop crew there, definitely.
On Red Bull level.
But yeah, it's like a checklist, isn't it, when we see a car coming into pits? Has it driven in by its own accord? Has it still got all its wheels pointing in the right direction? And are all the wings intact? If not, we'd have to expect there's been some incident, and if everything is still present and correct, it must be for fuel. I mean, what, the cars are only, what, three or four laps short for fuel, so you should, in theory, be able to fill the tank from here and get to the end, so...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Obviously, I think most of the guys just like to run it dry, so get a feel for it. But
yeah.
There's always varying strategies. We're looking at Stephen Koenig here, just getting to grips with the F3 car. It's a bit different than the GT3 car, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even keeping these pointing in the straight direction's a mission in itself, isn't it? So, good on Stephen.
It really is, yeah.
Up to 6th. Yeah, I'm just wondering with Chris, because we saw Stott get past him, obviously, into T1. I was wondering if maybe Chris was just feeling like it was being held up a little bit, so he decided to box, get himself some clean air, and try and make some lap time. Was to see Malarin with the fastest lap of the race, 53.9.
6 tenths faster.
Oh, what were we saying about the F3? There is Stephen's experience firsthand.
You come on, you can go forwards. There we go.
He loses one position there to Stott.
I wonder if that's just being trigger happy on the throttle, because in the GT3 you can quite literally mash it, but in these it's so gradual, it's really, really tough.
Yeah, the TC saves you in the GT3, doesn't it? Like, you can be trigger happy and the traction control just saves you most of the time.
Yeah, none of those luxuries in an F3. You're open to the elements.
Yep, if you're thunderfooting this, then chances are you're going around. So Carter on a bit of a recovery drive as well now. Then obviously Chris White has already pitted, but Carter closing up on the back of him now.
And obviously Carter made that very early stop.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't
let's
have
see, maybe
thought...
these guys are going to the end. I'm not too sure.
I'd be surprised if Carter could make it stretch from here, because that was, a lap 1 or 2 pit stop for his fast repair.
Yeah, it's quite early on, yeah, you're right. A little bit of fuel save, maybe? It's quite
Potentially.
tough to fuel save in these.
Yeah, exactly. It's the kind of, like, you need to do that strategy right from the green light if you're going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a long, not long enough time, shall we say, to do it.
So yeah, Malarin really stretching the gap out at the front now. I think he sort of saw Winslade was catching back up towards that 1 second that we spoke about, and he was just like, nah, I'm having none of this, put the foot back down again.
Exactly. Just give me a glimpse of hope, being like, you can catch me. Actually, no, you can't.
Dangling the carrot.
Yes.
So Koenig caught back up to Stott now after his spin. Within a 1 second gap here. Be feeling the toe down the straights, but also we'll be feeling the understeer.
That's a big twitch from Stott. You see that?
Dear me. Very sideways through that complex. But yeah, so Koenig will be getting the toe now down the straight, but also something new maybe for him will be the aero understeer.
Yes.
As he gets the dirty air from the cars ahead.
Much like the P2.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing worse than being in the middle of your night stint on a 24-hour race in the LMP2 and suddenly coming upon a load of chunder steer.
Not a pleasant feeling.
Why is my car broken?
So see James closing right up on the back of Chris here. See what you can do.
Now, if you're Chris and you've already made your pit stop, as we see the Wizards.
Wizards. That means Gareth must have made a
I would say Gareth made a mistake then, because there was a big gap back to Roberto before. It looks like a multi-21 sub going on here. That looked like an orchestrated change for position.
I'm not sure. I think Winslade's really struggling and not going to hold Roberto up if they're going to try and work together and see if they can close this almost 10-second gap. They've got the work cut out, but let's see what they can do. Yeah,
absolutely. I'd have to imagine from the excuse me, from the overspeed that Costa had there, that was probably an issue through the loop. Very easy to spin it either on the brakes into that section or even on acceleration as well. So
yeah.
See if we get a replay and see what happened to Winslade. But yeah, let's see if the Wizards can tow each other back forwards now towards Malarin.
Let's see what they can do.
As we see smoke. Nothing and appears on maybe from Forrester, who's now the full lap down from Malaren.
Yeah. Not too sure.
It's like formation flying from these two now. Look at them.
It is. Well, this is what Walker and Johnson did at Watkins, sitting in each other's draft. Oh, no, they've decided not to do that. They're softening again.
I thought Winslade was about to pit then as well. Round the outside. Oh, it gets pinchy there. This is a deceptive corner, isn't it? The very last one. Like, it tightens up really suddenly if you're going side by side through there. I mean, there's a lot of run off on the exit.
Too hard. They don't want to be battling too hard because Dan is going to close in. Let's see. Just sit behind and save a bit of fuel, guys. Chill.
Maybe they decided Malaren's out of reach now. We'll just have a little scrap in amongst ourselves.
P1's out of the question, right?
Yeah. Might as well have some fun while we're out here on track.
Yeah, that's very true. See what we can do.
Didn't really look like Winslade made that much ground in the slipstream just there. I was quite surprised. I thought he'd come absolutely thundering up behind him. It looks like he's made more of the closed more of the gap on the brakes there rather than in the slipstream. Potentially running different aero packages.
Maybe, or Gareth's just not being brave enough and getting right up into the gearbox. We know we like to see that.
Bit of bump drafting.
A bit of bump drafting, exactly that. Better nibbling the grass through cops.
Good to think of that. I was watching the iRacing coverage of the F4 Skip Barber thing that they started. One of our very own Jordan Johnson was in that race as it happened.
Oh, yeah.
And they were bump drafting the Formula 4s along the back straight of Watkins.
Unbelievable. Bump draft anything, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was surprising enough when I saw people bump drafting the LMP2s for Daytona, but seeing it in a Formula car was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
So this battling, like we mentioned, between the Wizards isn't helping them all. Malaren's now up to 13-second gap. And when we first cut to these two, it was at 11, so another 2 seconds is pulled out over this pairing.
Yeah, it's really pulling away up front.
Oh, a bit wide for Costa there, and seized the position that time. You could see him sort of back out of the throttle. Didn't want to pursue it any longer.
You don't want to make contact with your teammate, is more to the point.
Absolutely.
It's James ahead. Let's see what happens here.
So James has got that move done then.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was Chris, knowing that I'd already done my pit stop, I would probably have let James past anyway. Let him tow me along for a little bit. Get the pressure off. And then obviously when James pulls into the pits, you know you're getting that position back anyway.
Yep. Just sit behind, get in the draft and try and close with the cars in front. Let the car in front do all the work.
Exactly. Looks like Winslade has already pulled a decent gap to Costa, having got past him there.
Yeah, this battle might be raging up again. So we'll come back to this action. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Chris White back inside a half-second window here.
Field's quite spread out though, just looking at the gaps. These guys are 50 seconds off the lead. Literally half the track.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was just looking there. Obviously, we saw Koenig was closing in on Stott before as well, but he's now also a long way back from Stott, so potentially a problem there for Koenig.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but sitting pretty in P7, just accumulate the points.
These F3s really are a mileage car, aren't they? Like, you've just got to keep driving them to get the grips of them.
Yes.
It's a very difficult car to just jump in and out of, I find.
Especially with the setup changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just throwing it into cops there.
You really got to nibble the inside there, almost touching the grass, because otherwise you're just going to wash out and get the off track every time.
I just find it funny at this track. Obviously, you can see there on the overhead shot the sort of the pink sausages on the inside of each of those curves, but they're actually flat sausages, aren't they? You can really monster them. Even in a Formula car, you can just run over them.
You can, but I think, you know, with this like detection thing, obviously it's just like more than half the car. In some corners specifically, it gives you the off track, or worst case scenario, it gives you a slowdown, and you really don't want to be getting that.
No, absolutely not.
Especially on lap 1 in the draft onto the hanger straight. That's a 2.5 second slowdown turns to about 5 seconds.
Yeah, that'd pretty much be race over at that point, wouldn't it? Oh, and Stephen again. Same corner as the first time we saw that happen. I think it is just just Thunderfoot, isn't it, coming back onto the power?
Looks like it, doesn't it? It's on throttle because you're not really braking for that second half of the complex. So
Sort of just roll through,
very
ready for the
wide
right-hand
in
side.
the last corner though.
So that promotes Carter back up to 7th then, and Chris White now back up into 8th. We've got to remember that we think Chris White is already fueled to the finish, so all these positions on track for Chris are sort of legitimate. He's not going to lose them again, we don't expect.
Dano here. Oh, and we've got a replay. Oh, and this is Stott losing it. And recovers quite swiftly.
Yeah, we know he had a massive air gap behind him to, well, I was going to say to Koenig, but there was Koenig on the scene.
So I wonder that's how Koenig got past him.
Yeah.
And then I think Stott overtook, because we look at Chris Forrester.
This is how Carter got past Chris then, potentially. Oh, sorry, this is Chris Forrester. I was thinking Chris White.
I wonder if the track temp is up, because this is a lot of spins we're seeing here.
I think as well, I know for me at least when I've been driving it, like, I'm still getting used to this new tyre model. Like, the tyres used to be bulletproof on these things, and now they're just not. Really got to look after your set of rubber for the race.
Tyre management.
Absolutely. Just not pushing them too hard, making sure that they actually last the distance.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas before it would just be pedal to the metal and just absolutely blast it and see what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other than watching out for overheating if you were cooking them too much on the brakes and understeering, but yeah, now you've really got to look after them.
Yeah, got to be really careful. Alright, so it'll be tyre changes at the pit stops. So see Stott the fastest lap, but I think because he's coming to the pits, obviously the pit lane takes out their last complex, so we're going to ignore those fastest laps as they come up. They're not legitimate, so Stott back in. So obviously what we believe he took his fast repair, but
is that just a drive-through?
I was going to say that looked like a drive-through to me. Can't be too many incidents, surely.
That'd be quite early on. Like, we're not even halfway through. That'd be quite early if he's copped a penalty already.
12x to play with, so.
Well, then we've seen a 4x on the first lap. We've seen a spin, so that'd be 6 already. 6 off tracks. Quite possible, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. Got to really watch it. Obviously, we're quite strict on the off tracks and stuff, so you got to use them wisely, shall we say?
Yeah, and rightly so for me. I think, like, if you think about your F1, what is it, three sort of warnings, and then you're into pits. So
yeah,
I mean, the fact that we're giving everyone, I mean, some of it's to account for car contact and stuff like that, of course, but we're giving them a lot more than 3 opportunities to stay on track. And
yeah, that is the fair point.
Sam's clearly using all of that allowance.
Gotta use it, or if it's there, you gotta take it all, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of time to be gained on some corners by taking that off track if you can spare it in the balance.
It really is, especially in cups. You can absolutely blast it towards maggots, so it's definitely worth it.
So the gap between these two has been sort of fluctuating, hasn't it? We saw Winslade pull out to a sort of over a second from Costa after he initially got passed or got repassed, but now Costa's brought it back to sort of half a second now. You can see how close he is on screen there.
Well, just looking at the lap times there, he's about 8 tenths faster than Winslade, so I wonder if the toe's having a factor or Gareth's just managing his tyres and playing it careful.
Yeah, and of course there might have just been a minor mistake that we've not seen, like even just missing the apex by a couple of feet could soon sort of snowball and add up to losing lap time, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If you think if like the Maggots-Beckett's complex, if you miss the first apex through there, whoa, it's Chris. Oh
no! Oh dear, that was a unfortunate one. I think that like Chris was moving under braking there and clipped the inside curb. Oh, that's nasty, and that shows Stott out.
Well, Stott's used his fast repair.
I mean, I wonder if it was. I was going to say DQ limit, and he's obviously gone past the point.
Yeah, potentially as well. That's been a bit of a nightmare for Stott this race, sadly for him.
One to forget, use it as one of your drops. I'd like to see that one again, though. That looks pretty nasty.
Just it's unfortunate for Chris. Like, you can have a kind of a silly spin like that by yourself and get away with it most of the time, but the fact he came across the apex and then clipped Stott on the exit was, I just sort of made
Stott was just blind there. You can't see that. No way.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the virtual mirror, but it doesn't show you left and right of you. It
No.
just shows what's directly behind. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, it made what could have been just like an innocent little spin into kind of a bit of an incident instead. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe that's going to promote Forrester up.
Koenig was just showing off track around the Luffield hairpin there. Potentially had a spin or an off-track moment. So yeah, Chris Forrester. He's kept on lapping and he's finally got that position back from start now.
Yep. Koenig into the pits. Hammond into the pits.
I've got a feeling Koenig might have towed there, because like I said, he was just at Luffield a second ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some wheels missing off his wagon there.
That's in better days. It might be a nasty repair bill.
Was that Chris White just into pits again there? That was Chris
No,
White
he was
just
just coming
exiting,
out
wasn't it?
after the incident.
Oh, of course he had the incident. So we're expecting Forrester to still need a pit again as well, aren't we? Because he had the incident early
I
on.
think so, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought his fuel could have
James coming in.
finished.
So these guys coming in about the halfway point. That seems about right to me.
Yeah, just split the race 50-50.
Yeah. Let's see what the top guys do if they come in the next lap. I'm not too sure. We shall see what happens. See if they got enough fuel. That's probably more to the point.
Yeah, true. Just looking at the track map there, look at, like, Millar's just going into Maggots and Winslade's only just coming onto the old pit straight.
Unreal.
Massive gap.
He's got almost a pit stop in hand. That's unreal.
Yeah, phenomenal job from Millar. And to be fair, like, I think sometimes last season he was his own undoing with he was showing pace, but you know, getting involved in spins and accidents and stuff like that. And this season, he seems to have taken those out of his game.
He's really finding his feet.
Yeah, he's proven himself at the top. So is this where Winslade initially lost that gap to Costa then?
I think so.
And it was through the loop section. Oh, a good save to be fair, not to loop it completely.
Thought he was going around there, and that obviously allows Roberto to charge up onto him. And just, I think he breezes
just
past.
Uses the overspeed, doesn't he? I mean,
Yeah,
Winslade doesn't give it to him though. He fights him all the way in, doesn't he? Just breaks that little
And then
bit earlier on the
realises
inside.
speed difference. Yeah.
So it was through the loop then that happened.
This
is losing the wheels. This one, is it?
No, it'll be a separate incident. I think it'll be this one. Oh no, this is a spin again. Fitting on the show for us, Stephen. What's going on?
Getting some good coverage for his sponsors. Some good airtime. So this is the one with Chris White, isn't it? So it ducks to the inside. And then Chris just loses it on the brakes. Oh, Sam's just wrong place at the wrong time,
Yeah, this
sadly.
is the onboard. This is what I'd like to see. Let's have a look. So Chris is looking to the inside, realises it's too late. Just too much brake, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. These cars sort of lure you in like that, don't they? Like, you're coming in too hot, and so you press the brake pedal a little bit harder, but all it does is spin, so...
Yeah. Did his best to try and take evasive action.
Yeah, Sam's left space on the apex and everything, but sadly, because of Chris's spin, it just got wiped out.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, Rich.
Really struggling. Really struggling.
Drifting around that corner. Well
I mean,
held.
that is a first gear corner, so it's it's quite difficult. Well, first or second, but if you're it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I mean, and those lower gears are the ones you've got to be most careful with the throttle application as well.
Absolutely. Maybe a little bit of short shifting might be the option there, just to save you from spinning. Just gradually easing off, just adding a bit more to the rev range.
And save the tyres as well, like we said about the tyre management, sort of lighting them up and drifting through corners like that doesn't do your rubber any good.
Rich getting quite close to the wall in Woodcut. That's the way to do it. Nice and close to the wall. Shortest run to the next corner to Cops.
Yep, every foot counts, right?
It does. Absolutely.
So, front 5, have we seen Hammond in the pits yet? I think we have seen Hammond, haven't we? But the top 4 have not been in yet, so...
Yeah, because Hammond and Meisters have switched positions, so yeah. So the top 4 are yet to stop.
Be interested to keep an eye on their lap times then between the two of them, see how it's going to shape up after this pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, Hammond's got about 20 seconds. That seems about right for a pit stop time. Seems like
another big drift.
He's really pushing.
He's coming in 4-wheel drifting through there. Fantastic to watch, but probably terrifying to be in the cockpit.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking at Hammond.
Yeah, so Rich is sort of, he's lost a second since we first started talking about that battle there.
Must be all the sliding, that's just what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, the tyres will be wearing out, won't they? They'll be losing lap time. I mean, even just coming into the pits and letting them cool down for a couple of seconds while you get some fuel in can sometimes add a bit of pace into your outlaps, so...
Or it can do the polar opposite and make it like an ice rink.
Yeah, true. Here is
See
Koenig
Stephen
into
Koenig
the
back in.
pits.
Wonder
Ah,
if he forgot to
surprise.
fuel after towing.
Yeah.
That's peculiar.
Or potentially sort of in the moment, so it can be a bit kind of flustering, can't it, when you have a crash like that? Maybe just, like you say, just completely forgot to do the fuel at the same time. Looks like a drive-through.
Well, maybe a drive-through. Drive-through. And rejoins the track. As if nothing happened. Carry on.
But, I mean, we've seen 3 spins, so that'll be 6x for loss of control. So, yeah. Again, quite easy to accumulate the incidents.
Yeah, it's really easy. But next time I'll be at Bathurst, well, that one's going to be fun and games. You know, no off tracks there. I think if you're off the racing line, it's race over, right? Just straight into a wall.
Absolutely. I wonder if the powers that be will be kind enough to grace the guys with more than one fast repair for that one.
Yeah, so maybe a couple might be a nice gesture, but I think if you hit a wall, it's losing a wheel and it's tow time.
Absolutely, and it's a long lap there as well. Like, you lose so much time with a tow.
I think a couple of guys will be at least 2 or 3 laps down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So I said about keeping an eye on Meisters versus Hammond. Meisters with a 55.2. Just waiting for Hammond to come around the final section there.
Yeah, let's see what he can do. He's got 19 seconds. 19-second gap. Looking at James here in P6.
And Hammond's actually sort of
Slower.
8/10 down there, yeah. So Meisters on the light fuel is making it work for him.
Let's see, it's going to be close when he comes out of the pits. Let's see. Obviously, they haven't stopped yet, so they'll be in shortly.
It's nice and poised from Carter there. Nice and sort of
nice
smooth and rhythmic.
Well.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely. Nice little touch for Ukraine on the wings as well.
Yes. Very elegant.
But yeah, just everything, like, this car just looks nice and planted, nice and smooth. Like, it's not overworking it, it's not sliding everywhere. It doesn't look on the ragged edge, it just looks sort of controlled and fast, you know?
That's the way to be fast in these cars, isn't it? Just silky smooth.
Absolutely. You can't just rag them around, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
So we've got, who's that following Meisters through Maggots Beckett's there? I think it's Chris White keeping Meisters honest.
Yeah.
And then the Wizard still flying in formation. It was a look at the pit stop strategy, obviously. Malarian, Winslade, Costa, and Meisters still yet to pit.
That's right, yeah. They'll be in any time soon. Or, to be fair, if they have filled it up right up to the brim with 34.5 litres, we'll see them in right at the end. But nope, Meisters deciding now is the time to pit. Here he comes. Gets the car nicely slowed down to 60 kph to see what he can do.
Absolutely, and Hammond just coming round. Is it Stoke
Oh,
on at the
almost
end
into
of
the
the
wall
Wellington?
though, onto the pit entry. Do you see that? That was pretty close.
Another tight pit entry, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Hammond just coming into the final section now and through the veil. It's going to be tight on exit. It is going to be tight on exit.
Here we go.
Hammond around the final corner onto the pit straight. You could just see him in the top right of the screen there.
Here we go.
Going to be a race out of the pits. I think Hammond's got
There
him,
he
you
is.
know.
Oh, you can see him, yeah.
Watch it on the track map and we'll look at timing tower. Hammond does get the position.
Not by much. Not by much.
Like I say, this will be a proper race to finish between those two now.
Yeah, as you see, Roberto's closed back up again. So I wonder if Winslade's struggling. Well, as I said, it might just be draft being a big factor, but he's definitely closed the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a way, I'd almost not want to be as close as I am through this section. Like we said about the aero understeer, in this section especially.
Through Maggots
Roberto will be getting miserable understeer through here.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Just keep it within the track limits, nice and easy, onto the hanger straight.
So he actually lost a bit of time through that section because of that understeer there.
Yeah, about 2/10 or so, right? And Malarin into the pits, obviously ignoring the fastest lap. That is quite quick, 52.3. So Malarin, and let's see if these guys follow suit.
The Wizards
stays
go
out,
again.
and Costa stays out. So Winslade will be... Oh, will he be in that P1? I'm not sure, because Malarin's had quite a big buffer. Let's see, here he is.
This will be impressive if Malarin can do it, get an entire pit stop in hand.
He's done it. He's jumped them under the pits. Wow.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. That is impressive. So Malarin is a pit stop ahead and ahead on track.
Get some heat back into those tyres, get them gripped up again, and then, yeah, other than that, it's plain sailing for Malarin to the flag.
It is, yeah, with about 6 laps to go. So, getting there.
Are the Wizards living up to the name? Are they doing a bit of lift and coast and maybe trying to no-stop?
I'm not sure. I think it's quite difficult around here. I mean, you could, but the thing is, if you try and go for that strategy, as we found out from Watkins, you've got to do it from the off. You've got to do it from the green flag, as you said, and really work it, and I don't know, on average be about a second a lap slower. Because if you're doing like 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower, they're just going to beat you on pit stop time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the first time since the very early laps where the leading 3 have been on screen together here. And already, I think Malarin's pulling out the gap again.
It is, yeah.
I have to look as we come down there. Is it the hanger straight, this big long one down?
It is the hanger
Malarin's
straight.
coming onto, yeah, we'll have to...
In 2003, some peculiar man for no reason decided to run onto the track and run along the straight, waving a religious banner which stated, "Read the Bible is always right." His protest took place on that very straight at 200 miles an hour. What a scary thing for the drivers. That must have been horrible.
Was that you?
Wasn't me, no.
Is that how you know that fact?
As we see, Winslade into the pits.
Yeah, Winslade had enough of the probably the fuel light flashing on his dash.
Yeah, you get that low fuel alert with about 5 litres, so you know, there's plenty of fuel. There's enough. It's not like it comes on and says you've got 2 litres left and you've got to come in this lap.
I can't remember which car it is that does that. It might be the BMW GT3, and it tells you with like half a lap to go that you get the fuel alarm. It's like, it's a bit late now if you've already passed the pits. Tyre change for Winslade.
I'm not sure that looked too fast to be a tyre change. Maybe that's just us seeing the blinking. Maybe
potentially.
We need a tyre graphic. That's
what absolutely. I think tyre changes are quite fast in the Formula car, though. Yeah,
oh yeah.
We'll have to sort of again watch Winslade's pace and see how he is.
See how he's getting on. Yeah.
27 seconds down off the lead now.
That's unreal. Honestly, that's unreal. And obviously, so Costa is the last man to pit, deciding to stay out as long as possible.
Sometimes it's fun to do that just because you normally get the lap lead, but obviously Malarin's gap was so vast that didn't even get the lap lead for his troubles.
Yeah, I mean, Malarin was like 22 seconds off, and before you know it, he came out and got it.
I feel quite lonely for Costa now. He's sort of had Winslade by his side for almost all of the race. Now suddenly he's all by himself.
Yeah, he is. He's just gonna run some laps. Maybe he's in this time. What do we think?
I was expecting him to, but no, goes again. And Winslade's got a rabbit for him to chase, with Chris White being a lap down but ahead of him on track. So Gareth at least has got something in his sights that he can start chasing down, trying to make that lap time, see if he can, well, at least make sure that he gets back ahead of Costa after the pit stop.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, obviously Costa is on low fuel here versus Winslade, who's got quite a heavy car now. So if Costa can eke out a couple more laps, he's going to be fueling far less than Winslade. But we know the fueling time isn't too long, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the best strategy is here. Let's just see what lap times they're doing.
Yeah, with the
Winslade there with his pits was the 2:20. So let's see. So that's about 20 seconds or so in the pits.
With the faster lighter car, like you say, for Costa, maybe the overcut is actually the way to go here.
Maybe, yeah. We'd have to look at Costa's next lap if he chooses not to pit. Obviously, including this lap, we've got 4 to go, 5 to go.
5 including this one, so call it
5
4.5 for
including this
Costa.
one. Yeah, 4 for Costa. Field's quite spread out at the moment. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't see any battles, which is unfortunate, but we shall see. Obviously, well, I think the battle will rage between the Wizards when Costa pits.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. And the Canadian battle has kind of fizzled out, sadly. We were bigging it up before the pit stop, but 3-second gap between Hammond and Meesters.
So Hammond pitting earlier played into his hands. It worked out quite well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The gap between Costa and Malari, no, it doesn't look that bad until, 8 seconds, it's not ideal. They're not right up nose to tail, but then you remember that Malari's already stopped and Costa still needs
that's
to
what makes
pit.
it even more impressive.
Devastating
Costa
domination.
For another one. Has he got enough field, or is he? I'm not sure.
Cheat codes, mate. Cheat codes.
Cheat codes, yeah. But bear in mind, they don't have to pit, so maybe Costa, sitting behind Winslade, has saved enough fuel. Let's see. Let's see what he can do.
Potentially. We've not seen it done yet, have we? Oh,
we haven't, no.
Yeah.
Not in the Club 1500 anyway.
We saw some at Watkins in the top split, but that was also a bit crash induced anyway, so wasn't quite a full race.
It wasn't full because they had to come in for their fast repairs. Looking at Hammond here. Good to see Koenig and Forrester and White still going. That's good. After their issues.
Yeah, Chris White really just got snookered by it because he'd already pitted as well, hadn't he? Again, Chris White were bigging up for a good result in this one, but sadly just lost it on the brakes there with Stott, and yeah, that's putting him right back down the order again.
I wonder if this battle is going to rage again, because just looking at lap times there, Meesters was 3/10 faster on that lap alone than Hammond. Let's see. He's got work cut out because he's running out of laps.
It's the same thing, isn't it? When you can see the car ahead on track, it just makes you push that little bit more. Just find that extra tenth.
Definitely,
the gap down.
You don't want to be pushing too hard. Obviously, these are right at the end of the stint, so the tyres must be screaming. Like, when's it gonna end? When's it over?
4 mini volcanoes on each corner.
Absolutely.
Carter, another good recovery. Yeah, it's just thinking because obviously he
cruising around in P6.
First lap schmozzle for him, but a good recovery drive since then. Stayed out of trouble, just getting the laps ticked off.
Well, he had the 2-in-1 in lap 1 in the first sector, which was really unfortunate. But the car looks good as new, thankfully, with that one fast repair, and I think they'll be very thankful that that was a thing. As we see Costa finally coming into the pit.
Great fuel mileage there for Costa.
Really impressive. What was that? 2 or even 3 laps more than Winslade.
And about a 30-second gap, 25-second gap as they come into the pits there. So let's see on the rejoin. I think the closest battle on track right now is Malarin catching Forrester to put a lap on him.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Here's Roberto's into his box.
So it didn't get that tyre blinking like on Winslade.
So I
in
wonder
fact,
if
the car
Winslade
didn't
did
go
take tyres.
Yeah, because the car went up as well on the jacks for Winslade.
Yeah.
So 4 freshes for Winslade. Let's have a look at this rejoin. Tyres look to be the difference, yeah. That time to change the tyres has made the difference.
2-second tyre change is quite impressive. That's F1 standards.
Oh, Costa sliding through the loop there, though.
Oh, yeah, but there we go. Looking at it now, confirmation on track that Costa has jumped Winslade.
Fantastic strategy by Costa then. And sort of, what, a 1.5 second gap-ish? Or 1.3, the battle box says there, the bottom right corner. But Winslade can see him, and Winslade's already got tyre temp and fresh tyres as well.
Let's see, but Costa's going to have the lighter car with rubber that he's used to. So let's see, can he get them up to temp quickly? That is the question.
Yeah, that's the thing. As long as they can get them fired back up quickly enough, my money would be on Costa. But let's see.
My money's on Costa. Go on then, I'll back Winslade. Let's see what happens here.
Snappy little entry there. It probably looks sort of more dramatic from outboard than it does from in the cockpit. From in the cockpit, it probably feels quite normal, but from the TV camera here,
mid corner, you can really feel it, especially through cops. You know, when as you're turning in, you just feel the rear, and it's just like it's understeering out. It's just washing out. It's just like, oh, you know, you think you're not going to get the off track, and before you know it, you see that dreaded thing at the top of the screen, or in your headset if you're in VR. You're like, oh damn it.
As long as you don't see the big one across the middle. Slow down, give back 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, that would be devastating right now because these guys are really close. Let's see. I wonder if they're going to use the off tracks. Obviously, we've got 2 laps to go. Let's see. I would be tempted if I got a few off tracks. If I've got a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 left, I'd say I've got to use them from Winslade. I've got to use them from Costa. Got to manage the gap and just go for it. Use them.
2/10 in that final complex there.
So
They
there we
went
go.
into it at
There's the
1.3.
confirmation that Roberto didn't take tyres because look at the pit stop time. He had a 2:13 and Gareth had a 2:20, so 7 seconds the difference.
Yeah, massive difference there. Massive difference.
So if Winslade had chosen not to take in tyres, he would have jumped him. Wonder if he felt that he was lacking grip and just thought, you know what, P1's out of reach. I'm just going to do it and see what happens, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we saw Winslade potentially struggling for pace pre-pit stop, so yeah, I mean, if he was having a miserable time on that rubber, it makes sense to have taken new ones. I mean, if you're already struggling before the pit stop, you can't even stomach the thought of going on the same tyres after the pit stop, can you?
No, he'd be really struggling. So you see Costa going 21 laps, Malarin 17, Winslade 18, so it was 3 laps. 3 laps was the difference there. Wow, that's mega.
And as well as that, 3 laps on a lighter car, if you're sort of getting half a second a lap, then that's your 1.5 gap that we saw on track anyway as well, isn't it? So
it is, yeah, you're right. Have we missed something here? What on earth? I've just looked at the
Winslade's gone.
time meter. Winslade's dropped it.
Must have been a mistake somewhere. And that's what I was going to say when you said about using up the X's. It's a risky game because, of course, if you have a bit of a car contact or a loss of control and end up using more X's than you're planning on all at once, then that can be a drive-through there on the spot.
Malarin onto the white flag, so it's fine. He's going to be wondering where it's 30 seconds. That's
Malarin's so far ahead, he's already in Bathurst for the next race.
He is. He's already on to the next one. Unreal. That's unreal. But what on earth has happened to Winslade on the second to last lap here? Because that was shaping up to be a really good battle between the Wizards.
Yeah, absolutely. Potentially just that understeer that was spoken about. Maybe that aero wash might have just sent him off track somewhere. Because it's not a massive gap it's lost. It's, you know, it's a small off track or maybe a half spin.
2 minutes in comparison to a 54. So
I mean, that's about the gap that Winslade lost when we saw that half spin coming out of the loop.
yeah. And maybe it's the same place. Maybe he's done it into the loop again.
Yeah, potentially.
That's a shame.
So Malarin across the old pit straight then.
Yep, not long to go. He's halfway around the lap.
Nice and smooth. Yeah, it doesn't push that off track on the outside too much.
No, definitely not.
He doesn't even need to drive at 90%. He can drive at probably 50 or 60% and still
Yeah.
get it back to the finish.
Have we got some bonus points for 0xing? I'd like to see if anyone's got 0x after this one. I think they deserve it.
Yeah, that would be a good accomplishment. It's like the Red Bull Ring as well. Like, it's just impossible to do a 0x race there, right?
Unreal. Yeah, it's impossible. That last corner is horrible, but we're looking at Malarin here. Couple more corners to go.
Cruisy little Sunday drive for him today, hasn't it?
Yeah, just the pace difference is phenomenal.
It's just that consistency as well, like, especially at the start of the race, the pace wasn't maybe that different, but just the consistency from Malarin.
As we see Malarin coming across the line to take P1. Congratulations, Chio. Fantastic drive from you.
Yeah, really fantastic. Like, literally, there was no answer from anyone for him today.
No answer.
Would have been interesting to see.
There they are. I was just going to say, the Wizards have just come off the hangar straight. That shows the gap. It's phenomenal.
Would have been interested if Stott hadn't had that opening lap problem and then problems later in the race, because obviously he was the one in practice that was fastest. So that could have been an interesting battle, but it wasn't to be today.
See Roberto coming up towards the line to take P2. I'm sure he'd be very happy with that. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, Roberto started 6th, didn't he?
And 3rd place for Gareth. Very nicely done. But what could have been if he didn't take tyres and a couple of spins, semi-half spins, and maybe a bigger spin towards the end. But nice drive in the end. And we see Dano coming across the line for P4. He'll be happy with that. Wins the Battle of the Canadians.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, another nice clean race for Dano. Like, we've not seen him sort of spinning or off track. Same for Rich, really. Just
the line at P5.
Nice clean race and getting a good result out of it.
You see James. Oh, no, this is Chris. Here's James across the line in P6. And last man to cross the line will be Stephen Koenig. He's on the hangar straight at the moment. Oh, and we don't get to see that.
They're in our thoughts, at least.
Hopefully he made it across the line, didn't run out of fuel.
Can you imagine?
And there's confirmation there, the race result. Chir Malaran wins by 31.48 seconds. Wow, what a gap. And then Roberto in second, Gareth in third, Dano fourth, Rich fifth, James sixth, Chris Forrester in seventh, Chris Wright in eighth, Stephen Koenig in P9, and Sam Stott rounding out the field 14 laps down after the few issues. Do you want to take us through the championship standings?
Yeah, so Tour stays at the top of the standings there. Gareth jumps up one position into P2 and Costa up 3 into P3 with 173 points. Then we've got Hammond, Forrester, Hill, Meisters, White and Carter and Stott rounding out the top 10 there. Stott's dropped a position with the problems he's had this race. Dan Hill didn't race today, of course. He was down 4 in that championship. Teams Championship, same order.
Yep.
Wizards at 169, QRS 152. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But Wizards will have got a lot more points than QRS today, with Stott finishing in P10 and obviously a 2-3 for the Wizards.
Yeah, that's quite a big difference in points.
Got some victory donuts, I'd have thought, here from Malarin.
Of course. Only way
Did someone
to
give him a Formula Renault 3.5 today instead of the F3? What's
I
going on?
think so. The pace difference was incredible. But rightly so, he should celebrate because he deserved that one. Very nicely done.
Absolutely.
And next time out, we'll be at Bathurst. So let the fun and games begin there. We know what that track's like. Really, really difficult track.
Yes. A bit murderous. Very difficult. The walls are always close.
But as always, you can find us on all our socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Check out our Facebook, our website limitofadhesion.com, and if you're interested in joining us for any of the races, then do come and say hello on our Discord. That's in the description below. Thank you very much.
See ya!